Hello, lacrosse friends. Welcome once again to Lacrosse Link. I am Steven Stamp, joined by my co-host Tanner Fetch. Really exciting episode for you this week. We have a great rundown at the end of the show, but first, our featured interviews. I am joined by Jeff Teat, the first overall pick in last year's entry draft by the New York Riptide, and then another first-round pick from the same draft, Marshall Powless, chosen by the Saskatchewan Rush, will join Fetchy. So great interviews. Teat and Palace, and a great rundown. Thanks for being with us. Make sure to share, to like, subscribe, and enjoy the show.
Beautiful play, Aaron Gray Eyes. He is having himself a tournament.
So he's definitely physical, athletic, and somebody to be watching for.
In the middle, it just bounces off, but it's picked up and scored.
Right. Jeff Teat, welcome to the show. Welcome to Lacrosse Link, and congratulations on getting back on the field and playing really well in the Premier Lacrosse League.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's been good to finally get back out on the field, and it's been fun. Looking forward to keep playing.
Yeah, I mean, it's been obviously a long time for everyone. We've all gone through a lot of strange times, but with the Ivy League season shutting down, so you couldn't play at Cornell, you've missed more lacrosse than even a lot of the high level players who've been around. I'm curious how you've kept yourself sharp mentally as much as physically to be ready to go when you could get back on the field.
Yeah, it's just kind of a waiting game. Not sure when I was going to play or not, but just try to stay ready physically, keep my stick as ready as possible, working out, working camps, watching a lot of lacrosse. That's something definitely got a lot of time to do. So that's about it.
I'm very curious what I was actually going to ask you about watching lacrosse, about watching either other lacrosse or watching your own games, watching film of teams that you'd be playing as a way of preparing, and how much you do that and how much you feel that helps you to be ready to roll versus, I mean, you've been playing for so long, watching and playing the game at such a high level. I'm curious how much the video helps versus just getting back on the floor of the field and letting your intuition, your natural senses just come back.
Yeah, I mean, film definitely helps. I think, watching film and seeing what other teams are like and your own team and, picking up on mistakes definitely helps a lot. But for me, I was just kind of watching a lot of lacrosse more as a viewer, as a fan, and, trying to learn different things and stuff like that is something I always do. And then, just getting back out on the field and, getting that pace back to normal and, being comfortable out on the field definitely takes some time.
How did it feel getting back out there? The first game, I know everyone's paying attention because you're the first overall pick, and you come in, you haven't been able to play the first part of the season, you get out, and it didn't go super smoothly the first game, but then by the second game, you were clearly pretty dialed in. It reminds me very much of when you went to MSL, and your first game, you said you didn't feel particularly sharp, you didn't feel on your game. The next game, you were dialed in. It seems like it just takes a little bit, but I was wondering what it felt like that first game versus what it felt like the second game for you.
Yeah, it definitely felt a little different. I mean, a little tired at times, but I just did think I played extremely well. And then the second game, I think just my teammates kind of gave me just kept that confidence rolling with me, and tips here and there, and having conversations and stuff like that is something that goes a long way. And I think we all gelled on that Sunday game and took a big step forward.
How much time did you get to practice before you had to play the first time?
We practiced. We played Friday, practiced Thursday, and then had another walkthrough practice on Sundays.
Now, obviously, the New York Riptide, you're very excited to be part of it, sounds like, and they're clearly thrilled to have you with the club. But when you go to play for them, the first possible time would be December 3rd. We haven't seen a schedule yet for the NLL, but that will be at least 845 days between box lacrosse games. Because unless I'm mistaken, your last box game was game 4 of the playoffs against Peterborough in MSL back in August of 2019 on August 11th, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so 845 days or more. Same process, just watch a lot and get yourself mentally ready, and then get out there and let your instincts take over.
Yeah, it's definitely been a while for everybody in box lacrosse, to be honest. So I know there's talks of that bubble earlier, in the year. Obviously, that thing, meshed well. But yeah, I think everybody's looking forward to that start date of getting back to playing some box cross, especially in the NL.
I'm curious what you find to be the most challenging part of getting ready, whether it's the shooting, which to me seems like it would come back a bit easier, the passing, because you got to be connected with someone else, just spacing, field or floor awareness. What do you find is the hardest thing to get your feel back for?
Yeah, chemistry can be a thing. I think pace is definitely something that takes a little bit of time to get used to. Especially with the PLL, the 52-second shot clock. The game's extremely fast. Players are bigger, faster, stronger. So that quick pace of getting up and down the field is something that takes some time.
Obviously, when you get to play with New York, it'll be a 30-second shot clock, but it's not like you're not used to that. And you'll also be used to having Tyson Gibson there with you. You spend a lot of time playing beside him in junior. But there's also going to be guys like Callum Crawford and Kai Thompson, some players that you wouldn't be as familiar with. I'm curious what you're looking forward to in playing with all those various guys.
Yeah, played with Tyson obviously 4 years in Brampton. So much fun to play with, easy to play with. And then obviously played with Andy Borgatti and Orleman. So yeah, I'm familiar with a good amount of those guys, and excited to mesh with some new guys that I haven't got to play with before. Like Callum and those other guys. So I look forward to it. It'll be fun.
Have you had a chance to have many discussions with Dan Ladouceur, with Jason Crosby, your offensive coordinator, and just talk about what they're expecting from you, how they intend to integrate you into the offense, especially given that you do tend to be a guy that is going to be given the ball and carrying an offense, and Callum Crawford also tends to have that kind of a role. So have you had a chance to talk a lot about how to mesh your game in with the other guys?
No, not specifically. It's just been more of looking forward to getting back out there with the whole team and building that chemistry and starting from the ground up and taking things one step at a time. So I mean, yeah, definitely had a lot of conversations. Nothing too specific of what we're looking to see on the floor, but I think we're just all really excited to start building this thing and get going in the right direction.
How are things going being in New York, having a chance to get to meet some of the folks in person and just see the area? What's it like for you? I know you haven't been there long.
Yeah, I've been here 2 days now. And obviously we played yesterday, and the atmosphere was great, even on 4th of July. So good atmosphere. Everybody loves sports here. So whether it's the Islanders or the Knicks, whatever it may be. So a great sports atmosphere here, and looking forward to the Coliseum as well. So.
We had Sal Lucasio on the show a couple of weeks ago because of the whole Bruins, Islanders, New York Saints thing, and I know the Riptide are really kind of working to build into that and build connections with the old team, the Saints, with the new team, the Riptide. Have you been introduced to that yet, or are you waiting for a while before you get going on that side?
Yeah, no, nothing like that as of recent. Just kind of getting acclimated to this place and stuff like that. So I have a good amount of friends here. Told that taking a little tour of the Coliseum tomorrow and meeting him. So yeah, that'll be something to look forward to.
Sounds like a lot of fun. Really appreciate you taking the time to come on. Great catching up, and certainly wish you the best of luck through the rest of the PLL season and into the National Lacrosse League season, your rookie year with the Riptide.
Of course. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Hi, this is Jaden with Al Anderson Source for Sports. Excited to tell you that we got all our new lacrosse product in for this upcoming season. Whether you're playing box or field, our lacrosse experts are going to make sure we get you into the right equipment to elevate your game. At Al Anderson Source for Sports, we know our stuff.
Welcome, fans. Now, Marshall Powless is live on the show right here, right now. Welcome, Marshall.
Hello. How you doing?
Good. Yourself?
Not too bad.
We are excited to have you here. You guys don't know, Powless was the 7th overall draft pick in the 2020 draft by the Saskatchewan Rush, my home province, of course. 151 points for the Junior B Six Nation Rebels in the previous season, although COVID did kind of put a damper in the seasons that were coming up. And he represented Six Nation Rivermen at President's Cup. I saw him at the World Juniors. He's been all over the map. He does it all. So let's just jump right into it, Marshall. Every kid's dream is being drafted to the big leagues. I know it was mine. Of course, I didn't get my name called, maybe one day. But you did. So walk us through draft day. What was it like to hear your name called by the Saskatchewan Rush of the National Lacrosse League?
Yeah, well, so in the morning, I woke up and was all ready to go. I was pretty scared all day. I was really nervous. And just minute by minute, I got a little bit more excited. And then finally 7 o'clock rolled around and I was just excited to hear my name. I was really, I was super pumped. And not only that, I had my family there with me and they're also supportive and everything. And it was just awesome. Probably one of the best days of my life.
For sure, it would be. I mean, you don't get to have that experience every day, right? And you're one of the lucky few that does. And now you see your name on the protected list as well, right? So Derek Keenan obviously sees something in you, in the player that you are. Did you think you were going to be on the protected list, or was that kind of a surprise? Or
yeah, I wasn't really too sure. I know I didn't really expect to be, but like it's awesome. It's awesome. I am. I didn't think I really did that good of a role in Saskatchewan, just because there's so much talent and all around, offense and defense. So seeing my name on there was really awesome.
Missing a couple seasons due to COVID, right? What kind of hurdles, or what's the biggest hurdle that you think after missing 2 seasons and then having to jump into pro? So what are the hurdles you think you're going to face?
Probably the switch of game speed, because switching from junior B to even senior B was a little bit faster, but now switching from senior B to pro is going to be a lot more faster. Got to be more sharp and passes got to be on every time. So I'm thinking just the game speed.
For sure. And you played in Lasnay. Have you been playing that?
Yeah.
Team?
Yeah.
So you would have played against some of the pros there, right? So and in senior B, I guess they play that as well. So I mean, you know what it takes, right? You played at that speed, but now again, this next step might be something a little different, but I think it'll be exciting.
Yeah, for sure.
There's been many takeaways in your career building up to this chance. Obviously, getting 151 points in Junior B, playing at President's Cup, playing in Lasnay, and the World Junior on that big stage. In your opinion, what are some of the big defining moments that make you the player you are today?
Definitely my Junior B journey with the Six Nations Rebels. That was probably like the best year I've had, and I can't really take all the credit for it because it wasn't just me; it was the whole team effort. Like I couldn't get any assists without my team scoring, and that was probably the best accomplishment I ever had, was playing for that team, and it was really, really good. And even the fact that we made it to the finals, we didn't win, unfortunately, but should have.
You can't win them all, right? You can't win them all. Hey, but maybe you'll have some NLL rings on the fingers here right away if things go well, right?
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. Now, there's something special about playing in Saskatchewan, Sask Vegas, as we like to call it out here. It's the sold-out stadiums, 15,000 fans, the intense atmosphere. It's like the roof's going to blow off the place sometimes, right? You played the World Juniors in that arena, but it wasn't obviously packed full like a Saskatchewan Rush game, so I think you're in for a treat. And it's a dynasty franchise that Derek Keenan built. What are you most looking forward to about this opportunity?
Yeah, well, like you said, just the atmosphere. I was talking with my brother Johnny already, and he was saying that they have such a good fan base there, and every game's packed. He said that you're gonna have a good time there. Definitely enjoyed. I'm definitely excited about playing that in that kind of atmosphere, and as well as playing with the offense that the Saskatchewan Rush have.
For sure, there's a lot of guys out there that can pass the ball, shoot the ball. You'll be able to fit right in and gel with those guys, and you know what? I'm pretty excited to see that chemistry unfold as we move forward, right?
Yeah.
And also, Saskatchewan is connected deeply with the First Nations roots. you're from the Six Nations and the First Nations heritage there. Jeremy Thompson, Jeff Shadler have made large impacts to the First Nations communities within Saskatchewan and inspired future generations of lacrosse players. It's really awesome to see. Is this a trend that you're looking to continue?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. That's one of the things I was talking about as well is that I didn't know how big lacrosse is out there, especially for like First Nations communities. But if it's something that can be more like if it's not big out there, I'd like to help out as much as I can and just try to make it as big as I can.
You know what? It is growing, and that's what's nice to see. It really is starting to expand, and there's more First Nations communities starting to get on board. I mean, everyone here played hockey growing up. First Nations, non-First Nations, doesn't matter. Hockey was the thing, and then when lacrosse started, it started to pick up speed, and I'm hoping that it will continue. I'm hoping that you pick up speed in the big leagues. I can't wait to see you score your first goal and put the ball in the net. And the fan base is going to love you. I'm sure the Powless jersey is going to be flying off the shelf right away in the upcoming season. Thanks so much, Marshall, for joining us here on Lacrosse Link, and I look forward to watching you and I guess talking to you again soon.
Alrighty, yeah. Thank you so much for having me.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. Why aren't you clicking the link below to visit lacrosselink.com?
Hi, this is Jaden with Al Anderson Source for Sports. Excited to tell you that we got all our new lacrosse product in for this upcoming season. Whether you're playing box or field, our lacrosse experts are going to make sure we get you into the right equipment to elevate your game. At Al Anderson Source for Sports, we know our stuff.
And welcome now to the rundown section here on Lacrosse Link, the show. Stamper, Fetchy, here we are. We got an exciting one today. Why don't you just run it down, Stamper, and get us jump right into it. Rookie of the year, who are you taking?
Before we get to the Rookie of the Year, why don't we just go back? Because last week we talked a lot about the Panther City expansion draft. So we should take just a peek at how things went. I was pretty happy. I got 7 out of the 13, and 3 of my other guys were my alternate picks. So I got 7 plus 3, but 7 correct. You also had a prime number, correct? Right?
I had 1.
You had 1.
One's better than none, right? I went with a totally different draft plan. They took into account a little bit of that, but they took more into account, obviously, your idea of things. So,
yeah, interesting picks. I think the one thing, and I talked to Bob Hamley and Tracy Koleski for Boxla Beat, which you should go and check out on the Lacrosse Link website. I did have a chat with them about it and going over their reasoning and stuff. And the one thing I meant to ask and just didn't remember to do as we talked about a bunch of things was, why did they announce them in the order they did? We put ours alphabetical. I think most people were going alphabetical by team. They started with Matt Hossack first, then Charlie Kitchen from Albany. So I was curious about the order, but forgot to ask them. So that would have been interesting. But a pretty good group they've put together. Everything changes when you change like one player that you
might be able to snag Tracy for one of my shows here as one of my guests, and I'll be sure to ask that if I do. Because I'm curious. Great for Matt Hossack as the first player ever to be a Panther City lacrosse player, and he's such a nice guy, right? and he developed in Saskatchewan. So that's awesome for him. But yeah, I'm curious to know what was the reasoning behind it for sure.
And he does get a little overshadowed by his brother, the best defender in the game, indoor, outdoor, whatever. Graham Hossick is fantastic, but Matt is a very good player in his own right. So good for him to get that recognition. We are going to move on to our Rookie of the Year picks because, as you have seen in the first part of the show, our guests this week were both first-round draft picks from the last draft last year. So we're going to pick who we think are the favorites and a dark horse for Rookie of the Year outside of Jeff Teat, because he's the obvious pick. Do you want to go first?
All right, I'll jump into it since I tried to jump into it a little earlier in the show. Got that down. So I'll jump into it here right now. I'm going to go with my guest, Marshall Powless, because I think he is very talented. We saw him at the World Juniors. We've seen him at President's Cup. And he's in Junior B. He's getting 151 points. Like, that's just remarkable, right? I think he does face, like you said, some hurdles with already 3 studs being on that side of the floor.
Yeah, you've got Matthews, Keenan, and Shatler ahead of him. So is he going to get the touches? That's the big challenge for Marshall.
Exactly. I mean, they did protect him, which makes me think they do want to use him. And I guess they're going to go strong side. They could rotate him in, right? Dress him and rotate him in and just have less guys on the right side of the floor or the left side. The righties there. But I don't know. I think he could be the guy. I think he could be the guy if he gets the touches. So,
and your dark horse?
My dark horse, I'll go with Tanner Cook. All right. I'm hoping that my dark horse and or my actual pick go a little better than my Panther City expansion draft picks. But you know what? He's an elite prospect. He's strong. He's talented. Lefty forward. I think he'll be, and you know what? They need help, right? Calgary needs help on that side of the floor. So I think that's going to be him getting touches, whereas Marshall has to fight for his way to get on the floor. So
yeah, there's some opportunity for Tanner Cook, and you have set the bar kind of low for yourself, exceeding your Panther City success, but that's okay. I think you've done okay here.
Yeah.
I am going to go with the number 3 overall pick for my non-Jeff Teat favorite. I think Ryan Smith in Rochester. What I saw from him when he was a rookie in MSL with the Oakville Rock was a kid who was ready to play against men at the highest levels right away. There was no question. He was outstanding. He had good numbers, but he looked even better than his numbers were. So I think he's a really good candidate to come in, especially because, again, Rochester has opportunity available. I think he's going to get a ton of touches, a ton of looks, playing alongside Sean Evans if he's healthy, which I think he will be at this point, and some of those guys on that. I think Smith's going to be an immediate impact player right away. My dark horse, I'm going with the same reason. I'm going to take Robert Hudson, who went 6th overall to Georgia. And he kind of reminds me of his teammate, both in Brampton and now in Georgia, Adam Wiedemann, who went 2 years earlier in the 2018 draft and had an immediate impact, kind of surprised some folks. I think some people will be surprised at how big an immediate impact Robert Hudson can have, because he came into MSL and some guys are just better around better players. And I thought he was very good in junior, substantially better when he got to major series, and I think he'll be really good in the NLL.
It's kind of amazing how that effect of rubbing shoulders with guys that are better than you makes you better. So hopefully that does work out for your dark horse pick there, and maybe you'll clean up again here. I'll pull up my socks. I'll get a little better here. Don't worry. Now we transition into the Rocky Mountain Lacrosse League is underway. There's no restrictions in the province of Alberta anymore. No masks. It is wide open. So fans are in attendance, and they have had some Junior A and Junior B games sold out shows. They have pictures online. I'll try and share them on our Lacrosse Link Twitter. But it's exciting to see people in a building together for the sport of lacrosse. It just brings back that feeling of, man, we missed this, right? So
we really do.
BC, and we really do. And BC is underway as well. The Extreme Lacrosse League and their junior leagues are underway. So again, I don't know what the fan attendance looks like. Did you see Stamper on the streams?
No, I haven't seen the attendance. The XLL footage, which is on BC Sports TV, a new startup, which is pretty cool to have that stuff streaming out there, was shooting from the opposite side to the benches. So you're mostly seeing the benches. So I didn't really see when I was watching how the crowds were, but just to get it going again is pretty great. We're going to make a bit of a move over to the PLL, and another big weekend for PLL, some exciting games and things. A big record for Paul Rabel, becomes the all-time pro field lacrosse scoring leader, which is great, quite an accomplishment. It was fairly annoying that they kept referring to it and presenting it as the pro lacrosse scoring record. By my count, and by a lot of people's counts on Twitter, he's about 1,400 points behind John Grant Jr. when you look at pro, field, and box. So not a huge, a lot of work. The thing to me is like, it's not a huge deal, but just like with they call it the Pro Lacrosse Hall of Fame, where they don't mention field specific. I think it is kind of disrespectful to ignore the box side of things. It's not a Canadian versus US thing or a box versus field. It's more just respect. So just call it the pro field record and be clear.
I'm with you on it. I think since they amalgamated the two leagues, the MSL and the PLL, they just went with we're the Pro Lacrosse League, right? But again, like you said, they're throwing box lacrosse to the wayside. When those are two leagues and the NLL has been established very, very long with talented players, they deserve the recognition of the respect, right? They deserve. So now let's transition into all-star voting. You can vote for Paul Rabel or any of your favorite pro lacrosse players. Just kidding. But all the field players from the Premier Lacrosse League, you can decide who earns the league's best title. You select the 22 starters, 6 attacks, 6 middies, 6 defenders, 2 goalies, and 2 face-off specialists. That's on the PLL's website, so make your way there if you want to vote.
And it's hard because there have been a lot of guys playing very, very well. So how you whittle that down to those numbers is hard to say. One guy who probably won't get a lot of votes because he hasn't been playing very much, but had quite a weekend was Jack Kelly. I don't know, Fetchy, you want to talk about him? You're a goalie.
You know what? A pretty remarkable story. We got a clip that we're going to run for you as well as part of this segment here. But he comes back from tearing his ACL at for the U.S. men's national team at the World Games in Israel 2018. You were there, Stamper, so you would have saw this firsthand. I was wishing I was there. I was watching through the screen, listening to your lovely voice. But it was a remarkable story that Jack Kelly comes back from injury, goes in at half, and wins the game for him. His teammates showed him so much respect and love. The fans, coaches, everybody was there because it's not easy to come back from an injury in such a dynamic sport like lacrosse. Once you're injured and you tear like an ACL, it could be the end of it, but not for Jack Kelly. So,
and you tear the ACL, you go through the rehab, and then you have to wait through a pandemic. So you have to wait 3 years before you get to play again. And then, you've lost the starting job, or they've got the young guy, Troutner, who was the draft pick, and they weren't sure, but he did very well. Didn't have the best game, so they replaced him at the half. Kelly goes in a very tight game. The circumstances were very challenging, and he just rose to the occasion. You see the emotion in the video.
Do you think the 3 years or the 2 seasons, the pandemic gives him better time to heal and get stronger? Or do you think it hinders, sets you back? Like, what are your...
I say some of each, right? I mean, it gives you time to be fully healed, but they always say it's the second season after an ACL tear that you're really back to your full strength. Now, it's a little different for a goalie because you're not covering as much area, but you've got to be agile. So maybe the time is the key ingredient, but I feel like getting in there and playing would have made a big difference for him.
For sure.
Speaking of getting in there and playing, Liz Hogan, former U.S. national team goalie, and she's now coaching, a high-level coach, and she was at U.S. women's national team trials, and she wanted to see exactly what Charlotte North brings. So there's a great video that's going to be playing right now as we speak of a little challenge. Liz Hogan gets in net. Charlotte North has passed balls, and she's going to shoot. And it's funny. She says, "Oh, can I shoot anywhere?" And they say, "High heat." She's like, "Oh, they all have to be high? Okay." So she goes 3 in a row, top left corner, scores everyone, then rips one, goes to the top right corner, misses the net completely. But I think it just planted enough of a seed in Liz Hogan's head that she might go the other way. 2 more. Back in the top left corner, 5 goals on 6 shots. Charlotte North is a phenomenon. She is a freak of nature. What an incredible athlete.
It really is. She is sniping. She is scoring. And I mean, as a goalie, once you see her shoot there 2 times, you think, okay, well, maybe I'll just
She's not going back.
But you have to respect that she can maybe go this way, right? So you got to respect the shooter, especially a shooter like her. So pretty remarkable stuff there. I think that brings us to a close here of the rundown section. I got nothing else to add. I appreciate you all sticking around. Please let us know in the comments anything you want to see on the rundown. Of course, more topics to cover. Let us know what you think of our Rookie of the Year picks. Did I do better this time? Hopefully. And let us know what you think about those. Once again, this is Lacrosse Link. I'm Tanner Fetch, joined by Steven Stamp. Like, share, tell your friends, and we'll be back to another episode coming soon.
Let's go. Roll ones on 3. 1, 2, 3. Roll ones.